School,
Blame me.
vet, work, doctors, work, doctors. Thank you very much. You go to the doctors and he always seems to have good advice and bad advice. And I went to the doctor and he says, "Hey, Jay, how's everything going?" I said, "Well, you know." "How's everything at home?" I said, "Well, you know." He says, what's wrong?" And I said, "Well, there's an issue between my wife and I. And it's a sensitive issue. And every time we talk about it, it always seems to bring up an argument." And he says, "You know, they have a blue pill for that." I said, no, that's, I said, that's not the problem. The problem is, she thinks I'm going deaf. And I think she's going deaf. And every time I try, we always have a fight. He says, "This is what I want you to do. You go home. If she's at one end of the house, you go to the opposite side of the house. Ask her a question. Keep repeating that question until she answers you, and that way there, you will have your answer." "Okay, I'll do that." So I go home, and sure enough, she's in the kitchen, which is at the north end of the house. I go all the way down to the south end of the house, the race ranch, all the way down 3 miles down. And I says, "Babe, what's for dinner?" Nothing. So I move a little closer to her. And I says again, I said, "Babe, what's for dinner?" So I moved closer. And I said again, I got to keep it friendly. So I said, "Pookie, what's for dinner?" So I get into the kitchen, I turn around, I sit there, I says, "Babe, what's for dinner?" She turns around, she goes, "For the 4th time, Jay, it's chicken." Would you please now go get your hearing checked? So, with that happening during the week, I had to come up with an appropriate joke, because half of you already said, "Jay's going up there." Oh my God, I hope it's appropriate. Okay, so Kelly says, I'm a man of many, many talents. And one talent I definitely have, and I've mastered over the past 3 years, is the ability to make my wife crazy. And she says, "Jay, you're driving me crazy. You're going to leave me to drink." I said, "At least you don't have to walk." She goes, "Do me a favor, with this routine that's coming up, leave, go. Go somewhere where you can sit down and think about an appropriate joke to tell. Go somewhere where it's going to be nice and quiet and you're not going to be bothered." So I said, "You know, I'm going to take that advice." I get in the car and I leave and I go to my favorite place. A place where it's nice and quiet, I won't be bothered. People leave me alone. And, you know, occasionally Joe comes up and says, "Jay, need another beer?" And again, "Please, thank you, I appreciate that." And as I'm sitting there, there's another guy to my left, and a couple of people behind me playing some cards. There's like 3 stools in between us. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh, how am I going to tell this a joke that's appropriate for church? I mean, I got to tell it in front of the kids, tell it in front of the pastor, and in church. I said, oh boy. And as I'm sitting there contemplating what to do, this guy walks in. And he sits down and he says to the bartender, he says, "Can I get a Guinness?" Sure. The guy next to him says, do I detect a bit of Irish? He goes, "Hi." He goes, "Where are you from?" He goes, "I'm from Dublin." The guy goes, "No." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I too. I'm from Dublin." He goes, "No." He goes, "Yeah." He says, "No." He says, "Well, where did you where did you go to high school? He goes, well, I went to Dublin High. And he goes, no. He goes, yeah. He says, I too went to Dublin High. He goes, no. He goes, yeah. He says, when did you graduate? Oh, I graduated in '87. He goes, no. He goes, yeah. He says, I too graduated in '87. He says, no. He goes, yeah. And the bartender looks at the barmaid and says, it's going to be a long night. She goes, well, why is that? He goes, the Murphy twins are drunk again.